What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I sincerely do hope you're doing well. I'm out here grinding it. I hope that you enjoy the coverage. I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube lately. I don't know if anyone's even getting notifications anymore. I've definitely noticed that my videos aren't being recommended anymore. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm going to just hope that it's a temporary thing. And maybe if you remember to like this video and leave a comment in the comment section down below, because I've got some insider information on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, if you remember, I can't even remember if I did a video on this or not back in February, but a source came through to me in February saying that it takes place post 66th pre-New Hope. You play as a Jedi, not sure if it's famous canon or a new Jedi story, who is trying to survive and escape from Vader in the 501st. I'll get more information over the next few days as it comes in to my source. Now, turns out that was correct. And so I went back to the well and got some more information, but I'm going to show you what's out there now currently so we can check it out. So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order reveal. EA and Respawn Entertainment will unveil the new Star Wars game at Star Wars Celebration, which is this weekend, April 13th, if I remember correctly. EA and Respawn Entertainment will unveil the new Star Wars action-adventure game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, at Star Wars Celebration, Saturday, April 13th. The reveal will be live-streamed on EA's Star Wars Twitch channel, according to a tweet from the official Star Wars account. EA and Respawn started teasing the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on Tuesday, tweeting out a piece of artwork that included what appears to be a visibly damaged lightsaber resting upon a stone surface. A pair of circular runes are carved into the rock beneath the lightsaber. That tease also include a warning: do not stand out. So maybe that means there's some stealth in the game, some early stealth mechanics. I'm not sure. I'm concerned, given that it's EA and we won't get a good single-player mode. Respawn can do both, so I'm hoping, certainly you're going to have some online elements. And by the way, I've got a second video tonight about some concerns about Dragon Age 4 having online issues, shenanigans as well, but we'll stay on topic here. They wanted to say the phrase likely ties into the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which follows a Jedi student known as a Padawan who has survived a massacre known as Order 66 and seen in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Order 66 decreed all Jedi traitors to the Galactic Republic and subjected them to execution. EA and Respawn announced their Star Wars action game back in 2016, revealing that former God of War director Stig Osmundson was helming the third-person action-adventure project. The game is part of EA's long-term exclusive arrangement with Disney Lucasfilm to the developer Star Wars games. Now, what, if anything, can I tell you about microtransactions? I've got some source information on that, and I've also got some more information on what's going out in the rollout here. Some of it, not all of it, is good news. Some of it is very concerning to me. The continued hype goes around Respawn Entertainment has been flying high on the success of its hit free-to-play shooter, Apex Legends. Now, I'm concerned that they've developed this Star Wars game in what appears to be only 2 years, maybe 3 years. I mean, we saw what EA was capable of doing when it came to having 6 years to develop something in the case of Anthem. The actual Star Wars game, isn't a Battlefront, may actually finally be released as part of EA's massive contract with Disney. I've seen release dates as early as this year, this September. This quarter 4 of this year is going to be absurd. I hope you all stick around for the ride. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order remains a big mystery, but Respawn just tweeted out a teaser in anticipation of the big reveal. Star Wars Fallen Order takes place in the event. We already know this. Hopefully, it's a single-player game, or at least a single-player game with a multiplayer mode. I've asked my source about that. Respawn has a great track record for both solo and multiplayer, with Titanfall 2 remaining one of my favorite shooter campaigns, but having truly amazing multiplayer, I still prefer Apex Legends. Well, we'll know more this weekend. Now, so what we know this weekend, what's going to happen too, is we're going to have a trailer reveal. So not just like, hey, we're going to have the announcement, we're going to have a trailer. Now, the thing about trailers, as many of you know, is you've got to weather your excitement with cinematic trailers in gaming. We know now that you almost never get anything close to what it actually is. We saw inside of Anthem. We saw that the game didn't even exist in the E3 trailer that everyone saw. They had to develop the game around it. So, be careful about getting excited. I mean, I'm hoping that we see a good third-person solo multiplayer combination. I'm not a multiplayer guy, so without a good story mode, I'm not even interested in the game. I'm not just going to buy something just because it's Star Wars. I think that good single-player mode with RPG elements should be a home run. It's like that's been written on the wall for Star Wars 4 years. Respawn Entertainment Star Wars will be bringing the first Star Wars games to Disney this weekend to help build hype up for the Star Wars celebration and give fans an idea what is to come. EA and Respawn released an animated teaser image for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The teaser features what appears to be a lightsaber hilt with the end of its hand grip either burned or destroyed in some other way. The hilt rests upon a rock face imprinted with several why can't I ever say this word? Consequent circles of glyphs. The light glow of the arc circles through. It's unclear if it's natural or the result of lightsaber's crystal. Of course, the teaser trailer leaves much to the imagination. Respawn isn't ready to give too much information yet. However, there is some implied details worth mentioning. The presence of the lightsaber itself, obviously tied to the role players, will be take on in the game as Jedi themselves. The symbols aren't likely part of the mystical and ritualistic process of becoming a Jedi. Now, the don't stand out thing does imply some other things. Of course, Jedi releases later this year, which would imply that the game is basically done. Now, it'd be nice to get a game that is done, something closer to The Division 2 and further from Anthem. Now, The Division 2 wasn't perfect on launch, but it was pretty good, considering what we see coming out of AAA companies this year. But of course, you've got people talking about everything they want to see. It's scheduled for fall release of 2019, Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Knights of the Old Republic 2, Sith Lords Fallout New Vegas, and Divinity Original Sin 2 have announced he's finished penning his portion of the Jedi's Fallen Order story. So these are just things that they want to see in the game, and I'm curious what you want to see show up in the game. It would be interesting to see some more, like they said, weirder aspects of the Force, Imperial Inquisitors, a true display of the destructive power of the Force. I mean, it would be good. Darth Vader, I presume, is in the game, the Broken Jedi Order. And let's see, what has my source told me? Okay, well, here's what I know about the microtransactions of this game. The microtransactions of this game will be light up front. This is according to my source, who has been right before, based on what the game was about, but that doesn't mean they're always going to be right. So I just want to put it out there. This source has a history of being right, specifically with this game, though. Microtransactions will, of course, be an issue, but they are aware of the probably the worst rollout of microtransactions in gaming history with Battlefront 2, and they're very, very, very aware that they burned the Star Wars gaming community beyond recognition with that, and if they have any semblance of unfair microtransactions that roll out, they know that the community is going to give a huge pushback on that. So, unfortunately, I'm also hearing that it's basically following the same path as Anthem. Lots of pressure to have unfinished product out by an early set date, mismanagement, etc. Typical EA attitude. The atmosphere, these are quotes, seems to be stagnant and stressed as multiple departments struggle. Also, Vader's personal stormtroopers, the 501st, will be a major enemy template in the game, so assume that Vader will also be involved. Interesting news. interesting news. Now, if they roll out the microtransactions smartly, slowly, not ridiculously, I think that it's got a good chance. It's so weird. And if I can like rant for a second, like how hard is it to give us one good, I mean, Knights of the Old Republic was great, but like give us a good Star Wars game. Stop screwing around. I mean, you have an option here. You have a $1 billion license. You have a license that if you give people, I still think an open world Star Wars game would make hundreds of millions of dollars because the universe is so huge. And if you made it just that deep where people could explore the universe and go from planet to planet and travel around and see vast different worlds, I think that would be a game changer. Even in an era where people think, you know, MMOs are dead, I think a Star Wars MMO would be huge. It would be amazing. It would be wildly successful and something that I would pay monthly to play. Now, I can't speak for enough other people, I suppose, and maybe my kind of tastes are a little bit old style, but in this case, I would say that Star Wars needs to hit it out of the park. This game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, too long of a name, by the way. Everyone will just call it Jedi Fallen Order or simply Fallen Order, I'm sure. It needs to be perfect. I have major concerns when people inside the company are telling me that there's a massive crunch already, there's all sorts of pressure and mismanagement from EA, but why would anything be different? I wouldn't expect anything to be different in this game. Now, with Apex Legends, we know that EA essentially was told to stay out of the kitchen by Respawn as they worked on it. Now, if they took that same approach this time with EA, it's hard to know. I'm guessing that they didn't because, I mean, 2 major games in a short period of time, they probably had to utilize a lot more EA resources, I imagine. Maybe the game was mostly done as they've pretty much built several different Star Wars games that have ended up getting scrapped over the years. I hope that they take a huge, huge lesson from Battlefront 2. Look, the microtransactions won't matter if the game's not good. Meaning that if the game sucks, that's going to be the end point, like in the flow chart, right? Is a game good? Awesome. How are the microtransactions? Fair or unfair? Then that's where you get to the purchase or no purchase decision, to me. So I doubt they're going to reveal much about the microtransactions up front because that is what we see. We've seen this with Treyarch. We've seen, you know, Call of Duty comes in, Activision comes in, rolling out microtransactions, the most egregious ones, many, many months after the game launches because they know better now. They've learned that if they have that kind of junk in the game at Jump Street, it's going to hurt their bottom line too much. So even if the game looks okay, we have to always remember that it's produced by the worst company in gaming. It is produced by the greediest company, probably on the planet, but at least in gaming. So we have to always be on the lookout. You know, Respawn Entertainment giving us Apex Legends, even though it's not my jam, I would say the game is reasonably monetized and it's, again, free to play. So you get a lot more wiggle room on that. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is absolutely not going to be free to play. I would bet significant cash on that. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems unlikely. So this is going to be a $60, $80, $100 title, and you know they're going to milk the Star Wars community for all sorts of super mega, you know, Timmy editions with figurines and all this tchotchke, you know, crap that you don't need that just sits on your shelf, but some percentage of people always buy it. So that's what I know about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Got some extra information that, you know, Polygon and everyone else didn't have. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.